dude composing gloves here, and today we're going to talk about rhythm. What is rhythm? Now, you probably think you know what rhythm is, or maybe you've got some sort of an idea, but let's really just get this concept in our heads, because later on it will really allow you to make those sounds you want. A lot of times people will make sounds and they'll focus all this time on harmony, they'll focus on melody, and they'll go at rhythm, but they'll do it without consciously making decisions about rhythm. And as a result, we sort of have this empty area that could be developed. There are entire studies on rhythm. In the EDM world, rhythms are really about particular genres. Particular genres do certain rhythms. Like there are Latin rhythms that are very agreed upon. And then there's like big room rhythms where they use borrowed time. So it becomes this sort of topic, and there's really advanced versions of this. And so we're going to get back into time signatures a little bit, and we're going to sort of look at all these different things. But first we need to answer the fundamental question of what is rhythm? What is this thing we're always going to be using? Rhythm is not tied to pitch. So we have these two things. We have pitch over here, and then we've got rhythm over here. Pitch is the notes. That's your sound. When you make the big, even pitch bended sounds like woo, and whatever it is, maybe you've got a laser. Rhythm is how that pitch interacts with your meter, with the amount of time. That's why I spent all those videos on measure and the staff and building up all these sort of ideas about having a structure, some sort of a subdivided thing. So with rhythm, what we do is we take that pitch and we give it I don't want to use rhythm in the definition of rhythm. Don't you hate it when people do that? We give it a repetitive nature in accordance with the tempo or the meter we're moving at. And so people will say like, oh yeah, like if you listen to the world around you, it's all technically rhythm. It's all got its own motion. It was there by a calculated means. Something happened. Now we get in a bit of philosophy here, and things get kind of weird if you take time out of the equation, and I'm really into philosophy. So I'm going to ignore a whole bunch of things and sort of just present the idea to you. But they'll say that like, since things have been calculated, things had to happen in order for it to exist, that all these previous laws have therefore made that thing a calculated thing, so it is rhythm. And if you study people like John Cage and his ideas about music and silence and things, he has some pretty interesting arguments on the philosophy side. And if you ever study David Hume, he gets rid of cause and effect as an idea, which is another really weird way to kind of look at things. And it's just all these ideas sort of start coming into play. So I'm not teaching philosophy, I'm teaching music theory. So rhythm, again, is when we just take that and we give it purpose. We take pitch and we give it a relationship to time. Because technically pitch has a relationship to time just on the fact that it has to oscillate so many times a second for it to be related to time. But I just want that to be in your head. So different time signatures will introduce different rhythms, and they have what's called strong beats and weak beats. This is a fundamental thing in music theory rhythm and rhythm study. I'm not sure if there's like a name for this branch of study, but it is that you have like the strong beat and the weak beat. You also have upbeats and downbeats. You have all these things that people refer to. We're going to talk about them as we get going into more of what rhythm is. But this video is just to serve as an awareness factor that when we write things, we're writing rhythms. We're notating pitch, but the way we notate that pitch is rhythm. So where our note appears on the staff, that's our pitch. But how it appears on our staff, the direction, what this note represents in the horizontal axis is time, and that's our rhythm. One other quick note, that when I was starting to write dubstep, because I was very classically trained, I had a very difficult time composition-wise wrapping my head around the idea that it was mostly rhythm. I'd never really written a piece of music that was mostly rhythm. And so when I first started electronic music, I could do ARPs and I could take sounds and sort of make them harmonically related. Even then, my knowledge of theory wasn't that great either. But I kept on being like, how do they make those sounds? And I was missing the rhythm. I got really far into sound design only to find that I was missing rhythm. As soon as I had rhythm, all my other areas of knowledge all of a sudden were like, bam, and this explosion of creation happened. I was all of a sudden able to do a whole lot more. So we're going to talk about this in the next few videos. I'm not going to get into in-depth rhythm. I'm not going to talk about like we're going to talk about borrowed rhythms and things like that, elementary rhythms. We're not going to get into like really advanced rhythms because those are sort of a study after we've got harmony and we have more of a reason to get into them. And they're just not found in dance music. They're found in really complicated drum beats and stuff, people playing weird meters. If you ever get into collaborating with metal artists, or if you are a metal artist, they like to mess with rhythm and sort of come up with these unconventional methods of rhythm. So, it's all up to you. So anyways, that's rhythm. Hopefully I've answered that. I guess the definition at the end of the day is it's a rhythmically modulating pitch that moves with it. I'm sure Google has some other definition. I'm not sure what Google's definition is. I didn't look it up, but we're relating pitch to time is essentially what we're doing when we use rhythm. And when I say pitch, I mean noise. We're relating noise to time because you could use with a snare drum because that's what drums are. They're essentially just rhythmical instruments. They have tonal qualities and timbres, which a skilled composer will use to their advantage. And a producer has complete control over that if they're using samples. So, or a mixing engineer, after he's recorded the drums, he'll change the timbres. And if he's good at his job, they will make sense rhythmically with whatever the rhythm is doing. And so they'll use all these different things. Things like timbres are much more advanced topics after we get through harmonies and stuff. I'm not even sure how far I'm going to go in this series on that. But if you have any questions, let me know. Subscribe and have a blessed day.